So in a couple of days, I am going to be getting a letter. I'll probably read it from the government to outline the reasons why they decided to lump 1.5 years of payments they gave me. They decided to take it back, and that it was a firm decision, and nothing that I've provided has changed their mind. And despite my lower income position, they just said I still have to pay it. So, everyone in my family think I should go see the tribunal, go to lawyers, but I think they're just thinking above their heads. So I'm thinking with my own mind, and I'm just paying it back. It's not like they're wrong, and I don't think their decision is entirely wrong. I think they haven't charged me for the full 3 years that I've been studying, so 1.5 years is half of the 3 years. So they haven't charged me everything that they've given me. They just charged a large amount, and I'm expecting that to cover the debt, and so they've allowed me to keep some money, in that regard. But it is very rude to receive a letter like that. When I received it, I was in debt. I didn't have anything supporting me. I wasn't with Centrelink. Job seeker payments. I was just by myself. I hadn't applied because I keep getting on the bad side of Centrelink officers. So, I sort of refused to visit anyone and whatnot. So, but it urged me to, apply for Centrelink unemployment allowance. And I've actually had a good time with it this year. So it's been positive. Lots of phone contact as opposed to face, which is what I prefer. It's the only way I actually get along with everyone. And I got the additional income. So so I am getting support now. At the beginning of the year, I just started getting emotional, and I wrote a strong letter against it because of my position. But Centrelink's not stupid. They know I have a good idea of how much money I have in my bank, and if I went to a tribunal, I would presume they would just tell me to pay it. I don't think they would consider Centrelink wrong in their decision. And so, I kind of contemplated that. And so I finally tonight just set up my repayment plan, and I have no idea if Centrelink's going to contact me. At the moment, you can put any amount and it starts repaying the debt. So I put $100 so each time to be deducted from my current job seeker payment. So but I'm not sure if Centrelink's going to call me and say, sorry, the threshold's actually 1,800. Usually you get an automated response to say that your repayments should be above a certain amount. So I sort of looked it up a month ago or a few weeks ago, and then it was, at the beginning of the year, it was repayment is a minimum of 1,850 or so per month. And of course, I'm aghast because of as if I can afford that. But last few weeks ago, I looked it up and it said the minimum threshold was 150. And then today I looked it up and I put down $100 each payment, and it allowed it to process, so it didn't come up with a minimum threshold, so I hadn't. So it's good that it's sort of been reducing that minimum threshold thing, because $1,800 a month would have really screwed me emotionally, as well as possibly financially. It would have put me in a little bit of debt, because as if I have that much money. And then 150 would have been better, but now like 100 is okay. So I'm slowly starting to repay it. I have no idea if they're just gonna, if they have a deadline and they're just gonna say, hey, you owe us this much by February next year and take it all. But either way, I just decided I'm gonna pay it back. So it's gonna be robbing me of 20 grand. If it's just coming out from Centrelink payments, it doesn't really hit me so hard. And hopefully, you can just continue having it deducted, because and stuff. So rather than you pay it in a big lump sum by the due date, hopefully these deductions can just deduct a little bit by little bit slowly. Of course, that would take quite a few years, but hopefully the processes have changed, especially for Corona and stuff. But I did make the decision to pay it back, because I have a feeling that to see the tribunal costs money, and I have a feeling the tribunal wouldn't actually swing in my favor. I don't think they would. I would think they would ascertain how much money I have in my bank and then inform me that I still owe it. So I'm not going to a tribunal. I'm just going to be seeing if, this little payback. I'm just going to pay it back, So that's no good for me. I could really use $21,000. But anyways, who cares, right? So I would be broke if they just took it in a lump sum, but since they're just taking it out of the money the government gives me anyways, I don't think it's going to hit me hard unless they take it all by a due date. It's not going to hit me hard. So I think if I just get ongoing payments, it's not going to hit me so hard. So I'm not sure if I did the right or the wrong thing. I'm sure a lot of people will call me crazy. I should go through the tribunal and any other process. But the things that they're thinking about cost more money than just me paying it back. So they want lawyers and things and, exclamation marks, you can't do that. But I think if I followed anyone else's advice, it would lead me into further debt. They say, oh, you don't want to pay this debt, you'll be living under the bridge for a future. But I think all the actions they want me to take would leave me under a bridge, so to speak. Like, it'll leave me more in debt than just paying it back, I think. So I'm just paying it back. And hopefully this will be one of the last repayments that I have to do. I don't know, but I definitely won't be needing to pay my current allowance back, except for that little bit that I've registered. But hopefully I won't get a phone call to say, hey, you're paying back the debt too little at a time. So hopefully I won't get that kind of notice, because sometimes they do call you after you've arranged your repayment, and they do call you and say, sorry, the minimum threshold is such and such an amount. And but I don't know, hopefully they won't, so maybe I just won't pick up the phone or something, but hopefully they'll allow it, and I can continue doing it while I'm on Centrelink and stuff. So that was a big movement for me. What other big movements do I have? Nothing towards employment. I'm considering applying for all jobs in office and in customer service, and researching the kinds of jobs that you could be doing because of what you've studied, and apply for all sorts of other weird jobs. But I don't know, I'm out of my league a lot of the time. I just don't know what I do when I'm not doing the things I'm used to. So, but good luck that I've actually learned anything from my studies. I always learn things and then I forget them. So, but I'm currently still doing my studies. I have to redo an assignment handed in, and stuff. So it's a little bit annoying. But yeah. So I set up everything. Maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe I'm not as smart as other people. Maybe they would have seen the tribunal and swung something in their favor. But whatever. That's what I'm doing. So too bad if that's the wrong thing or whatever. But I just don't envision it. I don't envision them being anything being swung in my favor. I think and stuff. So Centrelink. I'm sure court would just have to digest how much money I have in my bank and ascertain as to whether or not I can afford it. And usually how it goes is if you have the full amount of money in your bank, you can afford the repayments to repay the item. But if you don't, if you really have nothing, then they might, oversee the payment or get the government to pay it or whatnot, or something, I don't know, but some special arrangement. But I actually do have that much money in my bank, and so I don't really think that they would swing any other way. I think they would say, we're just going to take this money from your bank and you've had your debt repaid and stuff. I don't believe that they're going to change the decision or anything. I think it's just going to be a waste of time. So I'm just, going whatever, closing my eyes and paying it back. I think this is the third Centrelink debt that I've paid. I have a feeling I've paid 2 debts previously. This is the third one. So it's going to rob me of full and 20 grand. But like I said, if you can do it little by little bit, then that's better than just doing it all lump sum. So 20 grand is what? 4 years. I don't know, but anyway, $200 a month, 12 months. What's $200 times 12? That's only $2,000 a year. Shit. Maybe I should check with Centrelink to see if they just steal all the money from your bank account, because I'm gonna be, without money, no money again. And I'm like, that is really unfair, I think. Well, hopefully they won't do that. Hopefully they'll just keep deducting $100 from my allowance and be happy with that. Because, no offense, it's a huge amount of money which I could use in life, in my little despairing life. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to get busy writing or something. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me I'm not going to get a job anytime soon. I think I was hoping for this data entry job that I applied for like a couple weeks ago to pull through, but I think all of them are not really going to happen. So that's great, isn't it? It's just wonderful that I have to start all over again. So I'm back to no money. That's something to be brooding about, I think.